What's up?
Hi.
Everybody, I'm Jim Asker from Billboard. And three of the greatest songwriters, not just in country music, but in all of music are here. And I'm really happy to be able to do this panel today. And just going across, I want to introduce everybody. Nicolle Galyon. Jessie Dillon. And Chase McGill. So before we dig in, I just wanted to, because I oversee the country charts at Billboard. Do you guys have a inkling of how they all work? So no, that's a no? Okay. So Hot Country Songs is like the Billboard Hot 100. It started as pretty much an airplay chart. It converted to a hybrid in 2012. So it's a mix of streaming, airplay, and sales. Those two aren't listening.
This is how our co-writes work.
This is correct.
And then airplay pretty much speaks for itself. Top country albums, that's trickles from the Billboard 200, where 5 of the albums this week are country albums for our first time in years, which is unbelievable. And then country digital song sales and streaming. And could I take a minute to read some stats? They're so impressive, it's unbelievable. Jessie Dillon on the Hot 100, which is all genre, 6 songwriting credits, including 1 top 10, Dan & Shay's and Justin Bieber's 10,000 Hours, which went all the way to number 4 on the Hot 100.
Go team.
10 songwriting credits on Hot Country Songs, including 4 top 10s, 1 number 1, which is 10,000 Hours. That stayed at number 1 for 21 weeks. The 6th longest running number 1 in the history of the chart, which goes back to 1958. Nicolle, 18 songwriting credits on the Hot 100, including 7 top 10s, or 7 top 40s, 1 top 10, Morgan Wallen's Thought You Should Know, which made it to number 7. 31 on Hot Country Songs, including 10 top 10s and 3 number 1s. Keith and Miranda Lambert's We Were Us, great song. Dan & Shay's Tequila, which is also a great story. And Morgan's Thought You Should Know, which actually debuted at number 1. She's had 25 on country airplay, including 11 top 10s, 7 number 1s. Do you want to hear them? No or yes? We Were Us, Kenny Chesney's All the Pretty Girls, Dan & Shay's Tequila, Dan & Shay's All to Myself, Kelsey and Chesney's Half My Hometown. That's such a great song. Dirks, Breland, and Hardy's Beers on Me and Thought You Should Know. So we've got 40 minutes, people. So as the kids say, we'll make them count, right? Okay. So the first song we're going to talk about is Break Up in the End, which was a great hit. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, you too.
All you.
That's such a special song to me. I'm so proud of it. I don't know. It'll always be one of my favorite songs I ever wrote. It's really special that we did it together. It was an idea that had kind of come to me out of nowhere because I had been in the library. I go there to look for song ideas sometimes, just like looking at book titles. And I had seen this book called John Dies at the End. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, they completely just gave everything away. And I was thinking, there's got to be a way to write a song like that. And I was just driving one day, and We Break Up in the End popped in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to write with him, who Chase is one of my favorite people to write with, one of my favorite people in general on the planet. And I brought that into him and John Knight. And I thought it was kind of sad, so I didn't know if the guys would be interested in doing it. And I remember they both got really quiet.
Well, John got quiet because his name's John, and she presented it with, I have this idea is like John dies at the end.
Oh, that's true. And then we wrote it. I mean, What do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I always say when I'm playing the song, I don't think I've ever made money off a song that took like 5 days to write, or even 5 hours, or even 3 hours to write. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 hours. But this song, I feel like was one of those kind of gifts. Once she threw the idea out, and we kind of started. I remember playing I'd forgotten a guitar that day, and there was a little nylon gut string guitar laying in there, and I kind of started playing it, and we just kind of started singing, and I think we were done in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So the four of us could write a song in 34 minutes.
Right.
And then give it to Jelly Roll.
Yes, I love
coming on
Jelly.
next.
He's up next. So
And
everybody
Jessie
stay.
Joe, by the way, just wrote a song that Jelly Roll is going to record.
He just did. It's on his new
He
album.
recorded it already?
Yes, it's called Halfway to Hell, and it is great. Oh, thank you. I love Jelly so much. He's one of my favorite people I've gotten to know in a long time.
I didn't
really
mean
proud
to
of him.
interrupt you guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the more special things about this song is just writing it with Jessie Joe. We've been writing together since she was one of my first writes in a publishing deal, I guess, you know? And just to write the kind of song that we've been writing since day one was kind of the coolest.
It was.
Part to
It
me
was a
about
special
this.
one. We got nominated for a Grammy together, which was Chase got 2 Grammy nominations.
Did it win for NSAI Song of the Year?
It did. We did, which is such a huge honor in our community to be on the 10 songs I wish I'd written, period, and then to win Song of the Year because all of our peers vote on that. It was just one of the coolest moments
It was
ever.
awesome.
Which is awesome. Well,
Yeah.
could we do a little piece of that?
Yeah, let me, I'm going to move
You guys want to hear
stations.
music?
Let's hope this is in tune. Been in my truck all day, so we'll see. Y'all just let me know when you have me out front there. I'm gonna do this and kind of figure out this volume knob. I can't ever remember which way is up and which way is down. Oh, sounds like maybe somebody had me. There we go.
Nice, right? And it went to #1.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you. That's the best day.
Nicolle, you grew up in Sterling, Kansas.
Yes, sir.
And I heard you tell a story about coming here when you were little, right?
Yeah, my first.
When it was still called Fanfare.
Yeah,
Can
my
you
first
tell
time
that?
on an
It will
airplane.
always be fanfare.
It will always be fanfare. For those of you who only know it as CMA Fest, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
My first time on an airplane was to come to Nashville for
Wow.
fanfare with my mom. And then I think we got to come every year for like 5 years in a row. And that was I think I only thought planes went to Nashville because that's the only time I ever got to fly in my entire childhood. And then until
Well, if it's
I
Southwest,
until I
they
moved
do.
here. Yeah.
Oh, they come to Nashville,
That's true. Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was a super fan. That's how I got started. I was the girl with the fanny pack.
But isn't that where you
and
kind of got the
ready.
bug about country music too? Just to be involved in it?
Yeah. I just got here and got the bug of I don't even know what I want to do with my life or my career. I just knew I wanted to come to Nashville and be close to all of this, whatever that looked like.
And she was a fellow journalist for a while, working at what was the name of the paper?
Well, I would say an amateur journalist. I worked for our hometown newspaper in the summers and I knew I wanted to write, in some capacity.
So now you're making a lot more than we do.
Well, I don't
Just
know
saying.
about that.
Tequila, such a great song. And I don't know if you know, but 54 weeks before it hit #1, which is the second longest. I Hope by Gabby Barrett took 60 weeks. So that's the longest. But once it got to #1, it was at #2, I think, for a ton of weeks. And just a great song. And are you going to play a snippet of that for us?
I would love to, if you want me to.
Awesome.
Yay.
Nicolle Galyon, everybody.
I love
It's been a
this
minute
song.
since the duo at the old Florida Fish House.
I think the last time that I played this song maybe was at the Florida Fish House, super drunk with Chase.
The last time I played Breakup in the End, I sang the hook, even though I'm too drunk in the end.
I can still shut down the party.
Jessie, Joe, can we talk about 10,000 Hours for a minute?
Sure.
When did you hear that Justin Bieber was going to be on that song?
Okay, so this will always, hey train.
The hell
Reminds me
was
of
that?
Hank Williams every time. Ramblin' Man, you know? It's one of my favorite stories, probably will be until I die. I wrote that song with Dan and Shay and our friend Jordan Reynolds, who's an amazing songwriter too. And I was in New York with my publisher who's here, Alex Heddle. Love you. Couldn't do without you. And I posted a story about being in New York on my Instagram, and Dan messaged me and he was like, oh my gosh, are you in New York? I have to see you. Like, I have something I want to play for you. And I was like, oh man, I guess that means they recorded 10,000 Hours probably. This is exciting. So we met up at a sports bar and we're like hanging out watching a game. And then me and Alex and Mike, my other publisher, went back to the guy's hotel. And when we were in Dan's room, he was like, so Justin Bieber is singing on 10,000 Hours. And
Were you happy
like,
about that?
I was like, I don't believe you at all. I was like, shut up, dude. And he was like, I'm serious. I was like, no, you're not. Stop. Like, he kept going. And he finally put headphones on my head and the song started playing and it was so amazing. And when it got to the second verse and I heard him, I just started crying. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it's Justin Bieber. It's crazy. I'll never forget that night, ever.
And that song went from 40 to number one and then stayed at number one for 21 weeks.
So crazy. I didn't even know that until you said it.
Because that's all I do. I have no other life.
But I know. I love it. I love it.
Do our people have that song queued up, you think? To play a little
Do you guys
snippet of
have
it?
it?
Russ,
Awesome. This is the demo.
can you play 10,000 Hours? This
Which is
is a demo.
not that different than the record, so it's interesting to hear.
I'd spend 10,000 hours and 10,000 more.
What's it like to be the new person for the first time in a room with, like, say, you three, but you're the first person? It's like your first write. What is that like when you walk into the room?
Like if someone were to write with us or us going into...
No, you going in with, and it's your first, you go back to like your first write with a bunch of other people.
Well, I guess the write that comes to mind the most when you ask that question is writing with Miranda for the first time, because that's, I have a little anxiety every day when I write, like
Same.
a little nerve, like it's a healthy nerve, even when I'm writing with people I'm super close with. And there's like a little like, oh, what's about to happen?
I don't think you can be a good songwriter and not have anxiety.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God, I hope we do good today.
My grandpa always used to say, if you're not nervous, you don't care enough. And so I remind myself of that I'm still
I
doing
love
something that I'm passionate about if I have
Yes.
nerves and I care. But probably the most nervous I've ever been before I write was writing with Miranda for the first time. And she was just so disarming. I mean, she just diffused every nerve because she's so real. And I think that's such a secret to being a successful songwriter, is making people around you feel safe in the room.
Wow.
And she did that for me when I wrote with her.
That's really great. What about, you all solo write? You all write by yourselves too, right?
Yeah.
I should do it more. I did so much when I was younger, and I need to get back to doing it more. I feel like
Not-
you start getting an idea, and then we would bring it to each other.
How about you guys?
I do it for myself, just for pure catharticism sometimes. But
Yeah, that's true.
sometimes
Nicolle?
it makes it into a room, and sometimes it dies on a notepad in my phone. But yeah.
I don't write by myself anymore. That's how I got my start. I was like a closeted songwriter for a few years and just wrote. I was too afraid to co-write with anyone, so I just wrote all my songs by myself. And that's always the advice that I give to new writers: is learn to write by yourself, because when you walk into a publishing company and you show them your songs, if you wrote them by yourself, it really shows what you can and can't do. And it's a little bit hard to tell that if all your songs are co-written. It's hard to
Agree.
It's hard to like interpret who did what to the song. But I don't write by myself anymore because I have too many. I just love the process of collaborating now. I'm really uninspired by myself.
Whatever. Look at the CEO here. She busy. She's running a record label, publishing company, and writing songs.
I'm barely writing
She's a
songs
boss.
anymore, period. So let alone by myself.
Because right now there's 60 songs on our country airplay chart, and they're all co-writes. There's no solo writes. So I guess that's the trend, right? Chase, let's go to you next.
All righty.
Chase has a song in the top 10 right now by Jordan Davis.
Woo woo.
Can we talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
And it's doing great on the chart. So
Yeah,
tell us how that came about.
Yeah, so it's called Next Thing You Know. And I'd had that idea kind of in my phone for a minute with not really knowing how to write it. A lot of things I write are kind of Southern-ish sayings that I've heard all my life. Next thing you know, you're blah, 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 you know? And so I kind of threw that out, and Jordan kind of grew up a similar way. And we just had, honestly, a bunch of dads in a room in a basement on 16th Avenue. And we got to talking, and one thing for me, over the last 5 years that I've noticed about how time passes is that it's a lot quicker with children. It seems to go really fast. It seems like literally yesterday I was at St. Thomas Midtown with my 5-year-old, and I was holding her for the first time, and then all of a sudden we're working on her Captain Hook for gymnastics, which if we have any gymnasts know what that is. Otherwise you're probably like, what the hell is a Captain Hook? But it's awesome. She nailed it. And so we got to talking about that, and we decided, we kind of made a conscious effort once we got past the first chorus to kind of break all the rules and just go, you know what? We're going to put getting married, we're going to put having kids in there, and we're not going to sing the same chorus once. We're going to sing all different ones. Let's just break all the rules and see what happens. That's kind of what you do when the artist goes, I don't know, man, I'm just kind of done. We're just kind of beating stuff, which we all love to hear.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And so that's what we did. And yeah, came up with Next Thing You Know there.
You want to play a little piece of it?
Yeah, sure. Again, I'm going to play second verse. I had a plugger one time tell me the difference in a good song and a great song is the second verse better than the first? And I'm bad about
I stand that.
latching onto one thing and sticking with it. So I always try to outdo the second verse, but second verse was kind of important to me. So it goes, you weren't really trying, next thing you know, there's a test on the counter, next thing.
That's awesome. Thank you. Beautiful song. You have a song in the top 10.
I do.
Memory Lane, Old Dominion,
Yes.
and they were present. You wrote with those guys, right?
Yes.
Is that a thing? Is there an artist writing with songwriters more and more now?
Oh, yeah. I would say most of our time is probably spent with artists anymore. It makes the days, honestly, we love the artists, don't get me wrong. But if like the three of us wrote a song later today, those days are like special too. To just write with songwriters.
Tell us about that song a little bit. It's in the top
Memory
10.
Lane. I love those guys so much. I've known Brad, Trevor, and Matt for a long time. They've always kind of been my big brothers a little bit. And we wrote 2 songs that day. Memory Lane was the first song. I had just gone through a really gutting breakup, honestly. And Matt and I had been talking about it days before we had run into each other, and we're just kind of like venting about our lives. And so it felt, I kind of wanted to write a song about it that day, and so we kind of just did it. And they're all such great writers. It was so fun for us all to be together. And it was another song kind of like you were talking about that got written really quickly. We probably wrote it in an hour. Brad, I remember, had a loop that he had on his computer, and we just kind of followed that. And it was just a great, really special day.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Great big hit.
Thank you.
Nicolle, could we talk about Thought You Should Know a minute?
I'm sorry, what? Can you say that again?
You wrote the song with Morgan.
Oh, Thought You Should Know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan and Miranda.
Yeah, I'm really in awe that the song was a hit and came out and all that, but I'm more in awe that day ever even happened because it's so, I remember being there writing thinking, this is something that you're going to remember when you're 80 because you're looking at, legendary artists and they had never written together before. So it was really cool to just be present, like a little bit of a fly on the wall, still writing, but also being like, what's going to happen when Morgan and Miranda write a song together for the first time? We ended up actually writing 3 songs that day on my back porch.
Let's go.
And it was one of those days where I was supposed to fly out at like 5 p.m. and they peer pressured me into canceling my flight. So it was just a really fun day altogether. One interesting part of the story is that someone had kind of given me a tip to not try to Nicolle the right, which what they meant by that was don't try to get Morgan to write something super deep and emotional and, or because I think, some of my songs are like, here's a super deep song about my son or about divorce or, whatever. And so someone from, I don't know, the publishing team, word got to me, don't try to make Morgan go super deep and write a song about his kid or anything. So I was like, got it. And, I had all these down the middle fun ideas. And then he walked in and the first thing he said was, well, I got this thing I really want to write for my mom. And I was like, okay, well, there you go.
Let's get deep.
So I always feel the need to say that because you probably would have thought I was trying to work some magic behind the scenes and get him to be emotional. But he really led trying to write a really intimate, emotional song that day.
That's really great. What are the odds that you'd play just a tad of it?
I'll play a tad. One thing I learned about this song was that Morgan Wallen's a really good singer because this is a really hard song to sing.
What's going on, mama? Something just dawned on me. I ain't been home in some months.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wish we had more time because there's so many songs that I would love to talk about. We'll just take Jelly Roll's slot. Keep rolling.
Sorry, Jelly.
It's a tremendous song. Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
Oh, I just said woo. I love that song. I love that song.
So, being the time limitations, Chase, what do you think? Sunrise, sunburn, sunset, never say never, don't think Jesus, 5'9".
My man
Just
here says,
decided
don't
it
think
for you.
Jesus.
There you go.
I was hoping someone would say something.
Tell us about that song.
You got to trust a man with a mustache.
Amen.
God, I wish you would have said an easy one to sing. Yeah, this came from a very personal place with just somebody in my life maybe trying to use religion in the wrong way a little bit, and kind of made me think about some stuff maybe Morgan was going through. So in my mind, me and Jessie, Alexander, and Mark Holman kind of put ourselves in Morgan's shoes with some things, and I know we got a lot of well, I'll just play the song. I don't know where I'm going to pick up. Like Nicolle said, Morgan is a really good singer. There's a big difference in singers and songwriters. One of the main differences is carbs and also the fact that they can sing. So yeah, this is Don't Think Jesus. So boy moves to the city, lives fast and goes hard.
Such a great song.
That is awesome.
Thank you, man.
Really great. Jessie Joe.
Yes. I love you.
The George Strait song that you had a hit with.
Oh, wow. That was my first
Was it the first?
hit. Yes. I was a baby. Crazy. I mean, I still can't. It's called The Breath You Take. I was 21. My dad is a songwriter as well. And kind of like Nicolle said, I was
The great Dean Dillon.
The great Dean Dillon, that guy. He's in the Hall of Fame. I'm very proud of him. Like Nicolle said, I was like kind of a closeted songwriter for a long time with my family. And I wanted to get a deal on my own before I even really talked to my dad about what I'd been doing. And then, of course, when I talked to him, he was like, what the hell? Like, why have you not written with me or asked to write with me? And so we wrote a few times, and we wrote this song with Casey Beathard. It was an idea I had, you know, just hoping they would think it was any good. And it was another day, like Chase had said, that was kind of short. I mean, probably 2 hours. And George liked the song and recorded it.
And it was a big hit for him.
Yeah, I still can't believe that. And my first Grammy nomination, I went by myself. I didn't know anyone. My dad didn't go with me. But great memory, great song. It's George Strait, the king of country music, you know?
The Breath You Take, number 6, 2011. What are the odds that we've got that queued up?
I don't think we have that one because I couldn't find.
Play a snippet of it. If you don't have that one, maybe Rich by Maren Morris.
Oh, this will be a funny if it's the work tape because it's kind of different than the.
Boy, I'd be a rich bitch, head to toe Prada, Benz in the drive.
She sounds exact same as she does on the record, and that's
I
just
know.
on an iPhone, right?
Congratulations, that's a great song.
Yes, she's one of the best singers I've ever and probably will ever meet. I mean, the tone, everything. And she's so tiny, so it's crazy that voice comes out of her. I love her so much.
Nicolle, what do you think? Half My Hometown, Automatic, Boy. I heard you tell the story about Boy. It was really sweet.
Such a good story.
Yeah, I mean, Boy's probably the most. People always ask like, what song is maybe like your favorite? I would say Boy to date is like the most special song that I've ever gotten to co-write. I wrote this with John Knight, and it was the last song that we wrote before I went off to have our son. Not John and I's son. We don't have a son together. But he has his own son, and he was like, he was just like, hey, I think we should just punt on trying to write to get a cut today. We should just write a song to this boy you're about to have. And we didn't have a title. And we didn't have a title. And I'm a big picture taker, and thank God, because I took this picture from the side where I like singing the work tape that day, and my belly is just like out to here. And it's just, it's the things like that makes songs special to me. It's not how high they go on the chart or whatever. It's just it's the human tie-in and the real life that made that song matter. So Boy is for 40. He's now 8 years old. So that's how old this song is. Let me sing a
awesome.
verse, chorus.
Boy, you're gonna know it all, thinking you're 10 feet tall.
When you heard there are going to be 3 songwriters here, did you even believe they would be such great artists too?
Right. Look at these two.
And Nicolle put an album out called Firstborn last summer. It's really good.
Great record. Check it out. If you
Chase, so what about a little Luke Bryan action?
Okay. You want to know the story?
You pick.
Oh, well, I'm in drop B. Yeah, I'll play some Luke. So I'll play my first number one. I was fully planning on being in a deer stand this day. And I'd gotten canceled on by Florida Georgia Line because they had no clue who I was because I had no hits. So I don't blame them. My song plugger was like, no, I got a feeling, man, you should go. We're going to replace them with Ryan Hurd and Zach Crowell. And I was just like, I love those two guys now. We've had multiple number ones together. But at the time I was like, can I please go hunting? And he's like, no, I want you to go. Just go do this. And so we did. And about a week later, Luke Bryan calls me. I didn't have his number saved. And I pick up the phone. He goes, I'll call you back. And so I hung up and I was like, I told my wife, we were sitting next to each other, and I was like, I think Luke Bryan just called me. Like, it sounded a lot like him. She was like, okay, sweetie, sure. Good for you, And so he calls back, hello, and he's like, hey, sorry, look, we're up here in Wisconsin bass fishing, and right when I called you, I didn't want to go in Wendy's, because I'm Luke Bryan. But I took the bass boat through the drive-thru and I ran clean over the azaleas and the little telecom thing. And so the whole time I'm processing that Luke's calling me, a songwriter with no hits. And also I'm imagining the girl at the window being like, is that Luke Bryan running over our azaleas? And he goes, who always heard this damn sunscreen song? And I was like, sunrise, sunburn. So, but it's just you, you know? And he was like, well, keep it that way. I'll holler at you. And then just hangs up and then made it #1 for us. So it's like, your daddy in a lake house. He had me painted that summer sophomore year.
Let's hear it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
What are you doing for CMA Fest? The three of you.
Mostly
Really quick.
wiping booties. I've got toddlers, so.
Yeah, we need some context on that.
Yeah, not my own. I've got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old, so I'll be doing that mostly.
I'm going to be running around chasing the artists that I'm really lucky to work with on Songs and Daughters. I'm
Lauren
going to be
Watkins.
supporting Lauren Watkins. If you haven't heard of her, go check her out.
She's awesome.
All of our dear friend Haley Witters is going to be playing, and
Yes,
she's
my
playing at
girl.
the stadium for the first time. Kimberly Perry and Tierra. So I'm going to be
Awesome.
busy this week.
Yes.
Jesse Joe?
Checking out some friends. Probably I'll probably bop around. I'll definitely go anywhere Jelly Roll is for sure. Love you, Jelly. Yes, I know. I saw him earlier. My friend Logan Crosby's new artist is playing tomorrow, I think, at Spotify House, and tonight at Listening Room, actually, at 8:30. He's new. He's awesome. He's Jason Aldean's cousin. Love him. Spotify House is fun. If you guys haven't been down to that, it's this spot. You can kind of chill all day. It's just good. So yeah,
That's awesome.
might go see Hardy at the stadium. I love
I wish
Hardy.
you all three a great week, a
Thank
great
you.
year.
Thank you so much.
Jessie Joe Dillon, Nicolle Galyon, Chase McGill. Thank you, guys.